Hello everyone, my name is Ramon Contreras and I'm an EIT with the County Stormwater Program. Thank you for joining this presentation for the 2021 MS4 Permit, Industrial and Commercial Program Inspector Training. Our 2021 MS4 permit is important because it helps us protect the water quality in our streams, rivers, lakes, and ocean from pollutants entering from our streets, industrial, and commercial facilities. Inspections are our way of educating the public and promoting BMPs to be used to reduce the pollution that enters our storm drains. This allows us to keep our water resources clean, create recreational areas free of trash, ensure a healthy wildlife habitat, and recharge our groundwater as we grow as a community. The MS4 system is our municipal separate storm sewer system. As the MS4 implies, it's separate from our sanitary sewer system, meaning that water collected is not treated before being released back into the environment. This includes anywhere stormwater can flow. Channels on sidewalks and roads, irrigation ditches and creeks, inlets, catch basins, and storm drains are all part of the MS4. That's why most storm drains are labeled Do Not Dump, because they drain directly to surface water. The Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board issues us a permit to regulate the release of that water and sets rules to monitor and improve water quality. We inspect industrial and commercial facilities specifically because they have a potential risk of pollution. We're there to look for signs of possible pollutants leaving the site. Inspectors educate operators and check that facilities are implementing stormwater management practices. These practices, also known as best management practices, help prevent and reduce non-stormwater discharges. Inspections are required every 2 years for commercial and industrial facilities, with some exceptions that will be explained later. The MS4 permit defines the categories of industrial and commercial facilities to be inspected. Generally, all industrial facilities and some commercial facilities like restaurants, gas stations, nurseries, and auto repair shops and dealerships must be inspected. Any other facilities that may contribute significant amounts of pollutants to our storm drains must also be inspected. As an inspector, you may need to be familiar with these terms, as they may need to be filled out on the provided inspection forms for commercial and industrial facilities. A notice of intent is a permit application to the State Water Quality Control Board for coverage under a general stormwater permit, such as the Industrial General Permit. To complete an NOI, a facility needs a stormwater pollution prevention plan, which includes actions for the facility to take to prevent pollution from entering stormwater and requirements to monitor the runoff of stormwater from the facility. After submitting an NOI and SWPPP, a facility is provided a waste discharge identification number by the state. Some facilities may have a no exposure certification, which means the facility is not exposed to stormwater, but periodic inspections may still be necessary to ensure that they are not exposed to stormwater. Finally, a notice of non-applicability is an exemption from the general permit coverage due to the facility being disconnected from polluting storm drains or engineered to contain all stormwater runoff on site. These facilities may still need to be inspected to confirm their submission of a NONA to the Water Board, ensuring their engineered controls are properly functioning, and confirm that they are not releasing any pollutants to our storm drains. Flow allowed to the MS4. Only stormwater runoff is allowed to flow into stormwater drains. There are some exceptions made, like emergency firefighting operations, naturally occurring seepage and flows, and landscape irrigation water. More specific exemptions can be found in the 2021 MS4 permit. The county is otherwise prohibited from discharging anything that is not stormwater to receiving waters. To reduce pollutants from entering our storm drain system, the permit requires commercial and industrial facilities to implement BMPs. Best Management Practices, or BMPs, is a term that describes a wide variety of temporary and permanent devices, procedures, structures, and plans for a facility. As an inspector, it's your job to be aware of these categories of BMPs and be conscious of them as you're inspecting a facility. On the form provided for each facility, you will need to check BMPs present at the facility to ensure that they are being implemented. The following types of BMPs are the minimum requirements for each facility, and other BMPs may be present on top of these minimum requirements. In the next slides, these BMPs will be explained further, with photos showing examples of BMPs being implemented properly and improperly. Housekeeping BMPs. The concept of housekeeping BMPs is to keep things tidy. This can be done by making sure spaces are kept clear of trash and clutter is organized to prevent the spread of pollutants from their locations. Preventing material tracking, such as oil spills from automotive shops or materials from leaving an industrial manufacturing plant, also fall under good housekeeping. As you're inspecting a facility for housekeeping BMPs, generally look for clean and tidy workspaces, materials covered and stored that could be readily mobilized by stormwater, and minimal stormwater discharges from non-industrial areas that come into contact with industrial areas. Preventative maintenance BMPs. Scheduled inspections, scheduled maintenance, and replacing parts before failure are all kinds of preventative maintenance BMPs. It is easier to prevent than to clean up pollution. As an inspector, look for any leaks or equipment that needs repair, and check that preventative measures are taken to reduce the possibility of pollution. Preventative maintenance in a nursery would look like sealed containers for fertilizers and pesticides, sweeping dirt and leaf litter, keeping equipment under cover, and containing stockpiled materials. At a gas station, preventative maintenance could mean checking pump handles for leaks, ensuring covers over the fueling stations and trash bins, and sweeping the fueling area. Spill and leak prevention and response BMPs. Potential spills and leaks can be obvious and are a good indicator of poor BMPs. Checking locations where common leaks occur, such as pipe connections, valves, gaskets, seals, and storage bins are a good place to start. While you're at these sites, if you notice stains on the ground, oily equipment, and wet or dripping pipes, these are good indicators that further investigation is needed. Check that they have the proper equipment to prevent and respond to any possible spills of materials. Common BMPs may include spill kits that are tailored to site operations, barriers, pallets, storage crates, sawdust or stand, kitty litter, and other absorbent materials. Material handling and waste management BMPs ensure materials and waste do not wash or blow away. All materials entering and leaving the site should be contained and stored properly. This includes the minimalization and prevention of handling and storing materials and wastes that can be easily moved by contact with stormwater. The photos on the left show poor material handling, which leads to pollution of the MS4. Even showing an overflowing trash bin with trash covering a storm drain. This kind of material handling is not acceptable and will lead to pollution. Materials handled and managed properly do not create opportunities for pollution of the MS4. By checking for covered materials and waste storage containers, you can determine if a facility uses proper material handling and waste management BMPs. Erosion and sediment control BMPs are important for facilities that are outdoors and face direct contact with stormwater. These controls minimize erosion and prevent sediment and pollutants from leaving the site. On the left, you can see poor erosion and sediment control BMPs. from silt fences that collapsed attempting to control sediment, to concrete and sediment runoff directly into storm drains, and sediment being tracked off-site. All of these photos show poor erosion and sediment control and do not divert runoff away from erodible materials. The photos on the right show proper BMPs that minimize erosion and mitigate sediment from leaving facilities. Fiber rolls shown in the top two photos filter sediment and pollutants, allowing only stormwater to pass into storm drains. Basins, like the one shown in the bottom left, can be used to allow sediment particles to settle out of the water column. Inactive areas on facilities such as slopes surrounding a landfill are covered or stabilized to prevent erosion via wind or stormwater, controlling any excess pollution from entering or leaving the site. When inspecting, look for sediment tracking off-site, stormwater erosion channels formed through materials, and prevention or mitigation tools like berms, filters, and slope stabilization. Finally, employee training and quality assurance record keeping BMPs. These BMPs are important at the facility to ensure all staff understand how to verify BMPs on site are implemented properly. These BMPs are hard to inspect, but asking for records of previous inspections, BMP information, annual trainings, and the SWPPP if applicable, will give you an understanding of the facility's quality assurance and record keeping, as well as their training standards. Combined, these two minimum BMPs can create an environment that ensures other BMPs are used and maintained by the facility. Moving on from the minimum BMPs required at commercial and industrial facilities, we have permanent structural BMPs, otherwise known as advanced structural BMPs. During inspections, you may need to look at infiltration basins, vegetated swales, and filter drains, some of the more common structural BMPs, to ensure that they are maintained and functioning properly. In the slides that follow, the BMPs will be explained and shown in photographs for your help in identifying them in the field. Infiltration BMPs. An infiltration basin is a relatively large impoundment that is designed to infiltrate stormwater. These basins can create a capacity for the storage of runoff to collect and give it time to percolate through the soil. Through infiltration, the pollutants in the stormwater are filtered and water is ultimately recharged into the groundwater table. You should inspect an infiltration basin for any buildup of sediment, trash, debris, and damage. These things can impact the basin's ability to transport and infiltrate water, which can lead to standing water. An infiltration basin should not have any standing water unless there has been a storm at the site in the past 72 hours. Other infiltration features can include permeable pavement and underground infiltration chambers. Vegetated swale BMPs. Vegetated swales are open, shallow channels with dense vegetation covering the side slopes and bottom that collect and slowly direct runoff flow to a downstream pipe. It's important to ensure vegetation is healthy and maintained all year. They treat stormwater by filtering water through vegetation in the channel, the subsoil matrix, and or infiltration into the underlying soils. Vegetated swales may be found in small landscaped portions of industrial or commercial facilities. When inspecting a vegetated swale, look for signs of erosion, damage to vegetation, channelization of flow, trash, litter, and areas of sediment accumulation. Ensure the commercial or industrial facility is maintaining the vegetated swale during the dry season by mowing grass, irrigating the swale, providing weed control when necessary, clearing litter and other blockages, maintaining the inlet spreader, and repairing any damaged areas within the channel. Filter drain BMPs. Filter drain BMPs are used to remove pollutants at the point of entry to the storm drain system. There are a multitude of inserts of various shapes and configurations, including baffles, baskets, boxes, fabrics, sorbent media, screens, and skimmers. Routine inspections and maintenance are required for filter drains to function properly and to prevent the resuspension and discharge of the accumulated pollutants. When inspecting a filter drain, check for pollutant loading of sediment, trash, and other plant materials that may be blocking stormwater from entering the drain. Also look to see if the filter drain was installed correctly by checking if stormwater flows around the filter or through it as it goes down the drain. By inspecting industrial and commercial facilities, you are helping mitigate potential pollution from critical sources. If you would like more information and training about stormwater management, including the requirements for inspecting all facilities, the MS4 permit, and more, please go to the County Stormwater Program page of the Ventura County Public Works website. For more information about BMPs and their maintenance, refer to the Casqua Industrial and Commercial Handbook, or contact the County Stormwater Program. Thank you for listening, and happy inspecting.